for me, what makes Vancouver Island so special is the pace. I have lived in multiple places across the country, and I visited a lot of places in North America and Europe as well. And I find that Vancouver Island just has a pace that we move at the pace of the work. I guess that's the best way for me to describe it. And sometimes we want, especially again, I'd say in our game, being education as leaders, we want things to be snappy to move. We got things to do. We got plans to, to succeed and execute, et cetera, et cetera. The island doesn't allow that to happen. You move at the pace of the work because the people that you work with move like that. And so you come to a place where you respect that, you honor that, but then you actually find that you enjoy that and you can groove yourself in that. And that took me a while to get used to. But now that I've been on the island for 36 years, a guest on Coast Salish territories, I move at the pace of the work and I love it.
I think what I would say is there's some critical pieces of the island. And I think this may be true in BC, but in the place where I work, the importance of the local Wisanish people and the land that we live and learn and work on is a critical focus to all of our work. And it's the place where we have to start. And I would say so something that's really special here is learning the Sinchothan language and how embedded Indigenous learning is to every aspect of our curriculum. And so I would say that that's a piece that's really important to start from and to build from. And I see that as a parent and as a leader, how vitally important that is. The other thing I would say working on the island is that we're very much relational focused. People matter, relationships matter. Who you are within the work environment and out of the work environment is important. So that when you come here, you're joining a community, and the schools and the community are very much intertwined and interconnected. And that's just who we are, and trying to separate those two pieces is virtually impossible. I think the other thing I would say is that when you work here, you're very connected to the environment and to nature, and the education that we have here is very connected to the environment and nature and the natural world, and understanding how that came about and the history of that, and learning from the people who have lived here since time immemorial.
Well, I think there's something unique about the Vancouver Island region. Many folks will tell you, oh, it's all about the weather. And of course, we do have a great climate and weather here. There's something really special about the work that happens here on Vancouver Island. And I think it's reflected at all levels in our sector. And that's kind of that regional partnership, the shared work that happens both in terms of sharing resources, but growing resources and learning from and with one another. We know that in our complex world that we have today, we can't solve problems in isolation. And I think Vancouver Island region very particularly does that work well. And one of the examples I see as very prominent these days is being the relatively recent Ministry of Education and Childcare's funding toward early learning in childcare, and just seeing the flourishing networks in that grow with that recent influx of resource and support. And if I think about that right through the various layers of our system, kind of that K to 12 and then into leadership and management, that gets reflected again then in historical pieces through the Island Numeracy Network, and the South Island Partnership pieces. Take that into leadership development and the formation of the Island Leadership Coalition for developing new leaders, and then again reflected in our own island chapter in BCSSA, and just how we're just far enough away from one another that we're not regularly getting together for coffee, but we're close enough that we can book together some events and make some things happen and bring people together. There's almost this sense of pride in doing the excellent work in a way that is island growing, and knowing that that's still it's of an exceptional standard. And when we bring that to the table as a provincial and global context, I think that strengthens what is the landscape of British Columbia education.
When I first moved to the island, I thought, what have I done? I constantly wanted to go back to the Lower Mainland. Every weekend I was trying to find an excuse to go back. And the more I lived here and the longer I was here, I'm now the opposite. I'm trying to constantly find ways to stay on the island and not leave, because Vancouver Island is, I think, one of the most beautiful places in the entire world. Certainly one of the most beautiful places in Canada and in BC. I think the natural beauty that we have, the fact that in my community, where can you be where you can ski, golf, and fish all in the exact same day if you wanted to? That you have that ability and that opportunity to do that. One of the favorite part of my day is driving into work and watching the sunrise over the water. It's so breathtaking at times, and it just gives me that a total spark of appreciation for how beautiful it is here. And on top of that, I will say Vancouver Island. We have an amazing group of leaders across the island. There's 13 districts because we also encompass Powell River that get together for the island chapter, the BCSSA island chapter. Such a great collective of people that we get together. In fact, next week we're going to Ucluelet for our winter session. And that is just a wonderful opportunity to connect with all of our colleagues, find out what's going well in their district, what challenges are, and working together to try to solve problems for one another and come up with solutions. But Vancouver Island is a great place to come and teach. It's a great place to raise kids. It's a beautiful family place. So all of those things, I do not ever regret moving to Vancouver Island. It's been a wonderful experience for me.
Vancouver Island is a beautiful place to live. We're so fortunate to live here. It's such a diverse region, just in terms of what a great place to live. I mean, in one weekend, I can go surfing, skiing, and golfing if I so chose. So we've got just amazing recreation and natural beauty where we live. In terms of specifically the profession of Vancouver Island, it's a really, really collaborative region. Like, I think I have multiple contacts in every district across the island that I could call up any day and say, hey, what are you guys doing about this? And they would share, not only openly share what they've done, what they've created, what they've worked on. It's a really, really open sharing community.
For the island, I think it's a beautiful place to be. It's the land and the connection to place that people have here. Being able to go out into the old growth forest and into the trees and hear the ocean and hear the waves. It's such a calming presence. And to be able to be out there and be able to escape so easily and quickly, to be active outside, to be with your family. I think it's that piece. I can go into the city and I can go visit the bigger areas like downtown Vancouver or something, and that's fun. But coming home and that real sense of home and family and community is very strong here on the island. And I mean, you can be up island and skiing, and you could be, out just up the street here and windsurfing. And I think having that breadth of what you can do with your family and with your community is a real pull for the island.